constructed.
or until the addition is made on.
That's correct. Or unless the existing building has the lead abated.
And for me, I guess, this is just me speaking.
Sure.
Okay? I would like to know what the cost differentiation is between the two. And again, getting them back in school, we'll have to see this on Monday, how much it's gonna cost for these students.
You're not going to get it on Monday because of the cost of the mobiles that's being handled by the architects.
The mobiles, the painting, and how much the survey is, as Bernie has alluded to, how much all that is.
I can give you a price on the survey. I've already got a bid in with the contractor to abate the paint.
Are there any other samples that have been taken that we're unaware of, like from the plumbing company that came in?
No, that's the reason why they want to do a full building assessment, because they only took like 29 or 30 samples. And I think what they want to do is go through the entire building and sample other areas of it.
So there wasn't a plumbing company here this week to look at other samples?
You're referring to Crotian plumbing?
I'm referring to that.
I'm glad you asked that. The regional superintendent felt that this was such a severe problem. He also called the health department, which is based, I believe, now out of Bureau County. They're expected to issue a report by the middle of next week. He also brought in the county board chairman, who is Gary Crotian, and that's the plumbing truck that was out front of that building on Friday that you're referring to. So there's other agencies involved in it.
I would like to just make a statement. The school board, the majority of us were unaware of this.
I wasn't either until Friday.
But it's...
I don't control what the regional superintendent, what other agencies he can call in. I have no control over that.
I understand that. But you knew on Friday that other people were being involved. Did you know other people were being involved? Did you? Did you? 4 of us didn't know. And this is becoming quite a problem for the school board. That's why we are not cohesive. That's why we're not. So on Friday, again, I cannot state this, it's now Saturday. On Friday, you even knew, and 4 of us didn't know.
I don't know what I would have told you.
That, exactly what you knew? That Crotians was coming in, that there were other areas looking, because that's important to know.
Crotians wasn't coming into the former. Not as a contractor, it's coming in as a county board, and he has no control.
No, we don't have
What's going in
control.
is regional. Or take that up with them, like you do.
No, I'm just more concerned with the communication that needs to flow to us. I'm not being hateful. I'm not being hateful or anything. I'm talking about us knowing that, now this is a little bit more than just this, that it's a little bit more than that. That's kind of what, in the county, the health department's coming in as well.
There could be other agencies involved that I'm not aware of either.
If there's nothing, I guess, yes, I could have told you that, but I don't know what else I would have told you because I didn't know what they were looking for. I just listened to what he said and just said that they were there.
I think what we need to answer is until, how long are we prepared not to have school until we get everything?
Well, like I said, I only read off the 3 recommendations. That's the only recommendations I see here. It doesn't recommend that all of the exterior paint be removed. It just recommends that the windows not be opened until it's removed. To me, if this ideal environmental engineering, their licensed lead inspector gave us these recommendations that the building will be safe if we perform them, why are we not looking to perform those recommendations?
I still feel we should wait for the rest of the inspection to identify all the actions needed.
We're trying to get them in school quickly. This is what...
I agree, I want you to.
This is their recommendation. That's what I
They
do.
should err in their caution. I don't want to take chances with those kids in there. Get those conditions.
This lead paint has been in there for so long, my kids have been around it, and everybody else's kid is sitting out here, and some people graduated from this school. Okay, if we're taking our actions right now and doing this, and then going one step further to make sure there's not other areas where they're being exposed to, we want to get them back in school, but I'm not so certain that moving them all over to different areas is great for their learning. I mean, I don't know if that's the best thing we can do for our kids.
I understand, but I think we should be erring the way of caution when it comes to health concerns. We should not be saying that it's been okay for years. We need to err in the way of caution until we know for sure.
But I would agree with you, Bernie, if we didn't have an expert who gave their opinion. But in this case, an expert who was certified gave their opinion. If they would have recommended moving all the kids out of the building, then I'd be with it, that's what I'd be going for. They didn't make that recommendation.
Okay, we can't do that until the regional office tells us we can bring them back in, so, right? But there's no sense in debating this till he tells us.
And let's be clear about this. When I talked to the superintendent, I believe you were present. Were you in that meeting we talked? You talked to him too as well?
Not really.
When I talked to him Friday, he did not feel comfortable allowing us to have students occupy that building. He makes the call.
But was it right now, or was it when we started doing these preventative measures?
He wanted to see a full risk assessment before they occupy the building. That's what he told me.
And that's one of the 3 recommendations.
This is
That's what I'm saying, why are we talking about getting those organized as quickly as possible? You seem to spend a lot of time working on moving kids around as opposed to actually meeting these recommendations.
If I could just really quickly interject. From my perspective, what was actually stated at that time was that I was under the impression he was awaiting these results on Friday. There was never, in my presence, there was never any discussion with him at all that day that alluded to him requiring, requesting, being concerned of any additional inspections. And keep in mind, we walked spot by spot through the building, and her little machine told us the result number at every single spot when she touched the wall. It told us not only yes or no, a negative, positive, but it gave us the number alluding to how extreme or not it was. Okay? So my total perspective from what he said that day was he was awaiting Friday's test results.
And he received it and read it, and I talked to him afterwards. And he still didn't feel comfortable doing it. I'm sorry?
Why isn't he here? Why isn't he here?
So,
Thank you.
to be clear, and Gina, thank you, because you gave a really good perspective on this inspection, because I really had no idea. And I don't want another Flint, Michigan. Okay? You can't have that. So, to be clear, it wasn't just a random, just pick spot here. You actually kind of went through and looked for problem spots. Is that the case?
I did. When we first started, right when we all got together that morning, everyone said, okay, how do you go about it? And the woman sat and explained to us detail for detail. We waited for her while she got her previous results as to the specific layout, just as you saw here. She had it sent to her phone so that she knew the exact points that she had pinpointed before, so that she could then determine at that point if she felt she needed to reassess those specific areas or if she needed to go to different areas. Between herself, Rolf, the ROE, myself, we all walked around. It was open as to any place, anyone felt that they should look. She chose, based on her knowledge of being in the building, and correct me if I was wrong, but she also has done multiple inspections regarding the abatement and that sort of thing previously in our building. She's been in our building several times. I know that the janitors kind of made light of the fact that they kind of know each other by name almost at this point because they're there frequently, keeping track of everything. So the woman had full knowledge of the building. It was not a blank slate where she was coming in and she had no knowledge of where to look or the layout of the building at all. But just to be accurate, she, went back and looked at her specific layout that she previously looked at. So there was no guidance as far as any one person saying, look here only, or don't look there, or anything of that sort. The expert completely went around the building and showed the spots that she felt she should go to.
I would have been comfortable had the representative, president of ROE was here tonight so that he could tell us why we did these preventative measures, why he might not be comfortable still letting the kids, if there's something else that we're unaware of, or if these measures were met and we did the painting and then we did the inspection, if he was still uncomfortable with letting him in the building. I would like to have heard from him why, if we were to start painting tomorrow, okay, and covering up these major areas and doing, as Bernie alluded, doing the survey, okay, if that would be, yes, we can bring them back in, okay, because right now that question is out there, it's not answered. And again, I'm just not certain that picking them up today, saying, okay, you guys are all going to start going Monday here, is the best bet when we don't know how quickly this could be abated and how quickly those kids could go back in there. That's the thing, safely, okay? That's the question I have. So I would have liked to have heard from him as to what we needed to do to get it done quickly.
Okay, but at this point, all right, they are recommending that we not occupy the building. So am I hearing you say that, okay, let's go ahead and plan to paint, and let's put the kids back in the building and plan to do the painting? What do you want to
Kids
do?
should go into a gun thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have a report or anything stating that whoever they would be, are referring to that we've been recommended not to go back in the building?
Oh, yeah. He got this report at about 4:30 Friday afternoon.
And I guess that's what I'm saying, I would like to have seen something from him or heard something from him saying, okay, here's the report, I'm looking at it, if you do this, this, and this, you can have the kids back in the building, however, you may not until this time. Or we're gonna paint, we're gonna go ahead and abate these right now, and we're gonna paint this weekend. Okay, we're gonna do the full thing and then see where it went from there, because right now, none of us in this whole board are qualified to say they can go back in or can't go back in, and if we have a report from a certified person saying that this is what we need to do, and the paint is not an expensive expenditure, we spend way more money on doing other things than putting paint on walls to cover it for safety.
If they're in there working Monday, would that interfere with class? I mean, it'd be just like the other day, right? Or not? I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, again, she alluded to the children being able to be in school and just avoiding those specific areas, primarily outside, which again, it would be against the building. So I know from my experience at the elementary school, you teachers are very, very good about keeping the kids away from the building. Props to you, okay? I've never seen kids up against the building during recess activities. So outside, if you could keep the kids away from the building, also in these noted areas specifically. Let me also note that the bulk of the paint issues, such as outside of Ms. Hatton's room, I'm sorry, I don't know the number, the issues are approximately 6-7 feet high up on the wall. So she had to get a ladder to get up there to get to the areas. So granted, there may be some chips on the floor, on the wall underneath that. So we might want to reroute a little bit or be cautious of that. Maybe a teacher stand in an area to keep the children away from that. But in my opinion, from what I've heard, and again, not an expert, I'm going off of what the expert told me, and she told Rolf and the ROE in front of me, that as long as we are cautious to keep those children out of those specific areas, keep the windows shut until we can have the weather or make that work, then at this point, I did not personally hear or see anything that day that led me to believe that anyone in the room, from the knowledge they had at that moment, felt as if the kids could not be in that building.
With regards to the exterior, this is a simple solution to a simple question, we're going to know off the base, if we're worried about paint chips falling out, can't you just cover them in plastic? So, just hold them around the windows. If you're worried about paint chips, like,
That I don't know.
is it that full side of the
Well, then it's dark in your classroom.
It's clear plastic.
It's like people do all the time. They do that.
Would we have to do the mold before?
Yep.
That's deep clean or?
So that could be cleaned up this weekend, I assume, right?
Keep in mind, also part of that recommendation is eliminating the water source from that mold. And the leak that is creating that mold is a flat roof that leaks whenever it rains, including in the teacher's lounge. And a portion of the roof of that building has been replaced. That none of the flat roofs have been repaired. So every time that rains, it leaks, and that potentially creates additional mold. And that's another recommendation in the sample air quality was to eliminate the water source in that area.
Okay, so our job is to decide whether we want to send the kids back to school on Monday, back to the grade school, or whether we want to allow this time for the test to be done without the kids in there and start working on a plan to get them back in school some way. We have a possibility of having a contingency plan. Nobody wants to really do that, I know, because it's it's such an upheaval, but I don't regret keeping the kids out of school Thursday and Friday, because I just think that was the precautionary thing, and I think that was right. Now we come to the point, all right, do you want to put it back in there? We've got the reports, or do we want to work on our contingency plan?
Dixie, could we maybe ask for public comment from parents? I don't see too many here, but I do see, and teachers, what they feel.
I would go for that. What?
Right?
Oh, yes, you want this microphone? We can take 15 minutes to do that, and can you just talk 2 minutes? You want to say something? Please identify yourselves too.
Classroom teacher. I just want to say, when you're saying keep the windows closed.
Meredith?
I'm sorry, are you okay? Are you sorry? Okay, Meredith Patton, classroom teacher. And I just want to say that when you're asking us to keep the windows closed, our building gets really hot with the radiator heat, and it's sometimes uncontrollably hot. So there are times in the winter time that we crack our windows because we're dying. So that's all. I just want to make sure that you know that it gets really hot.
I'm Missy Baden, parent of 3 kids in schools. I personally don't want my kids going to school in pods. I'm not down with that idea. I would rather give up my Easter break, go a few extra days, take the time off to fix the problems that we have, to not uproot them in the middle of their school year. My name is Michelle Kyneth, and I have a daughter there at the school. I would like to see what the further recommendations are to keep our children safe. We can't get health back for our kids if it's compromised, and therefore we can always work on education. We no longer, but we need to keep them healthy. We need to keep them safe, and whatever cost that is, I think we should move forward with that. But we need more answers before we can make that decision.
My name is Joe Bella, 5 kids. I recommend that we paint, clean, shampoo on Monday, and then get the full inspection Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then make a determination after that.
My name is Al Dorsey, and I was a former board member back in the 90s, and actually chairman of the Building and Grounds Committee. I have personally walked all the buildings. There is a lot of problems with the different buildings, specifically the elementary building. And the reason why I'm speaking here, when you ask for parents or teachers, I'm a grandparent. I currently have 9 grandchildren in this school district, 4 of them currently in the elementary building. And I was aware of this stuff, and everything's been addressed. There's a lot of good discussions tonight, a lot of good points made. And the thing, my concern is, when you're talking about the outside of the building, that building is drafty. And when you have lead paint deteriorating, not just chipping, because when they chip, it actually falls into particles. Those particles are raining down on the side of that building, and that wind, during the winter, is whipping into those classrooms and bringing that lead inside. That is actually contaminating the entire building, including the air. So chips, eating, there are a lot of good things. I'm not an expert, and a lot of people said tonight they weren't experts. But you have to take experts' opinion, and if the ROE said you don't want them really back in there and don't feel comfortable with it, I don't see how any of us, when we're not experts, to override those to say that. Thank you.
My name is Dennis Piles. I have 6 grandchildren in that school. And I'm sure that I love my grandchildren just as much as any parent loves their children. And I believe we need to go on the recommendation that we've been given, this board's been given here, to clean that up, paint it, and get these children back in school and quit this nonsense.
I don't think that I think the kids need to get back to school as quickly as possible, but I would like to see us do the work before having those kids sent back. I mean, if we could get it done as quickly as possible and a test done as quickly as possible. I mean, I do think uprooting them is hard on the kids as well as our teachers. But just to send them back, that does bother me. So I think I would rather err on keeping them out of school a couple more days. If we could get this done and get them back in. That's, I think, where I'm at.
Anybody else there? Brian?
I agree as well.
Okay. Brian?
I want to wait until we get back to school for the rest of the week. But they can all.
Jalen?
I would agree with Mr. Bella. I think that if we can expedite the situation by trying to get everything through in here quickly, and if we have to pay them a little premium for the weekend or whatever we have to do, to get that taken care of quickly. And also, I would urge Rob to see if we can get the person that we had out here or someone else from their office, another expert, to come as soon as possible and express the need at this point to get it done quickly. I think that we should move forward immediately with trying to get all of the cleaning and the cleaning remedied even over the weekend. And then hopefully it will be out maybe a day or 2. I don't know, whatever it will be, but as quickly as we can towards the beginning of next week.
I completely agree with that.
I too agree with that, and then see where we go from there. So we're probably looking at a day or 2 out, at least.
Do you want me to order a full risk assessment from IDEA to be completed?
What would that include?
I'm not sure. I'd have to talk to IDEA.
Because my opinion is the 3 recommendations they gave, that's the things I would like to see addressed.
All right? Pardon me? Yes. One of our recommendations was a full risk assessment.
I would just like to add so we don't get in the situation with the other 2 schools, that we are making sure that we're cleaning areas when they're wet, as listed in the report, and that if we do see paint that is exposed or chipping, regardless if we think it's lead or not, that we are covering it. Because if it is, I don't want this to happen again to any of our students at any of our schools. Paint is pretty inexpensive, and so is the cleaning of things to make sure that the safety of the kids, airborne, anything that could ingest is all above board.
Do we know what is tailored in a risk assessment? I mean, it sounds like they did a pretty intense inspection. That was my understanding. So what more is involved in a complete, did they do like half risk assessment? I don't understand the difference.
I don't know.
I actually would like to know that also, because I will say that in starting that process out that day, she was given a complete rein as to the number of samples needed also. So it was based on exactly whatever she was finding as we went along, as to whether or not she found things and felt as if she needed to do additional sampling at that time. So I too would be real curious to hear from her. I would like to get some feedback from her.
Sure.
If we're having a meeting or whatever, whenever we're deciding, I would like to.
And I will ask the regional superintendent to attend that meeting as well.
As far as the windows, the windows is one of the line items. We're going to plan on the sheet right now. We can't.
I will have to confer with the staff and the interim principal, whichever that.
All right, is there any more discussion regarding this item? Okay. Can I ask for a motion to adjourn?
I will second.
Thank you all very much for coming tonight. We really do appreciate it. Yes, said that. Monday and probably Tuesday. Yeah.
We don't know how long everything will take. I mean, it is our goal to get the kids back as soon as possible, but I think for sure we could say probably Monday and Tuesday.
What can we do from a communication perspective to make sure that this is available to folks that aren't here to find out?
I'm putting these reports online on our website as soon as possible. And I can notify, and specifically what information are you referring to?
Well, that they're not going to be in school first off.
Can you do it
Are you guys getting the all calls?
Yeah, we would do it all call and we would do it on our Facebook page.
Okay.
And I'll contact the local media, the television station as well.
I think, you have parent email addresses, correct, as well?
Not all of them, not everybody's got email.
But I think we need to make sure all call maybe goes out more than once, because I know
Sure.
it didn't register on my device, other people did not get it. And I think it's very important so we don't have any children showing up and that parents can make arrangements for their children for being off of school.
The applicant.
Or inclusive at this point.
Well, let me reiterate so we're clear. You want all recommendations followed. You want a full risk assessment completed. You would like to have somebody here from IDEAL and the regional superintendent at the next board.
And we want to start the cleaning as
And
soon
they all,
as
yeah,
possible.
right, that would be the recommendation.
Because that was their first recommendation, was the interim control options, which involved the cleaning and covering of paint. Those need to begin tomorrow if possible.
If it's lead-based paint, a contractor has to do it. can't do it.
They didn't,
Is that a state law that they have to do that?
I'm sorry?
I was just asking why if there's independent, I mean, if there's not something that, I mean, so when we go out and paint anywhere else, if we're not supposed to be doing that, we're supposed to have somebody.
We have to test it to find out if it's lead.
Okay.
It's just similar to asbestos.
right, but the recommendation is not to scrape off the entire walls, it's simply to cover it with a high quality liquid encapsulating coating.
Which could be paint, or it could be joint compound, or it could be drywall compound.
Yeah.
But she was pretty clear, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we should use a contractor, correct?
The situation, and I would agree with that. I would feel better about that knowing that it was done 100% properly, so that there was no issues.
I agree. Yeah, let's have a professional come in here, but if, and I agree, if we have to pay a bit of premium to get it done, expedite it.
And we have had that contractor who was out there looking at that building, I believe it was Thursday or Friday. I will call them Monday and ask them to come out and start the job immediately.
Can we, are there any others that we could check into, just in case they're booked up, or?
She mentioned one other, and I don't recall what the name of that contractor was.
Not to be pushy, but is there any way that we could even make a call, leave a message tonight?
Sure.
I mean, any time, because even if they're willing to come out earlier, a day is a big deal.
Right.
So, really, as soon as we possibly can, if you're willing, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Okay.
So we're saying Tuesday, we're closed through Monday and Tuesday, is that correct? And then we'll,
If the contractor can get out here
okay,
and complete the job, earlier Tuesday.
but so that we can give the public knowledge now, let's say, and would everybody be okay with saying that as of right now, we are going to be closed through Tuesday? We can notify you by Monday an update as to whether or not we've heard any additional results and the progress that we are making. And we'll notify you the best we can at that point. If we know that at that point, maybe on Monday we'll find out, maybe Sunday we will have made it so much progress over the weekend that maybe we'll be back. But we will notify you that ahead of time. I would like to say that as of right now, if everybody agrees, we're good until Tuesday. We'll get back with you Monday to give you the utmost report that we can give at that time. Okay.
We good? All right.
Can I ask something? I don't know exactly what I can ask.
Yeah.
Okay, my question to you is why in the high school or the middle school they do not go? Or still go when elementary is out? Does it, the whole district have to be closed for us to make it work? Or can the middle school and high school go on Monday and Tuesday?
That's a good question.
We can send them.
And then I have another question, and this is just an idea, I'm just throwing this out there. Sorry if you can't hear me, I'm really nervous. Okay, so if we do have to be out Monday and Tuesday, why not make one of those days a teacher in service and take away the one on the 15th of February, and then you're not missing another day of instruction?
Part of the contingency plan was to waive President's Day, any in-service days that we had left, and also possibly shave days off spring break. So we are out of school at the same time as before. In other words, amending the calendar.
So I'm just asking just to think about maybe sending the high school and middle school, if you can, I don't know if you can or not, but why everybody miss them, but we can still do them, teaching. Certain classes need those in there because the AP classes are done, they have a time.
I'm
That's
sorry.
my question.
No, if it's an emergency day, it does not affect state aid, but again, the ROE has to be informed about it and they have to approve.
So that counts as paid enrollment, though, if you don't have your entire school.
It depends what percentage of the students are in session.
So that would probably
I'm sorry?
So that would need to be clarified, right?
Yes, it would have to be clarified. We would have to find out exactly what the enrollment is next week of each school, and the enrollment fluctuates on a daily basis.
I mean, if we know we're not sending the elementary, then we've got that exact number instead of based on the exact number of kids that are sick or not sick or.
It's a percentage. I believe if it's less than 50% is out, we can conduct an emergency, we can conduct a session for school for a portion of the district.
Yeah.
Just from my perspective, transportation, that would change busing times. We have several homes that are just elementary, and then pick up a group of high school, so that will affect the time, so we have to know that real quick to make that adjustment. The parents will have to know that we're possibly going to be showing up at different times than our normal routes.
All right, is there anything else from the board?
I guess I'm still wondering, so is it, are we gonna have Midland High School attend for that?
I would,
I think for sure on Monday, we shouldn't until you can run figures.
if you have a portion of the district out, I wouldn't have any of the district attend. Now, if this turns out it's going to be a week, which right now we do not know, we can say possibly for Monday and Tuesday, but we don't know. I don't know how long a risk assessment is going to take. I don't know if I can get a contractor out here to repair the paint. And if there's any other peeling paint in that building, which I suspect there is, I can't touch it until it's tested whether or not it's lead-based. And if it's lead-based, then the contractor has to abate it, not me. What I can do right now is I can follow the recommendations for the carpeting and the mold that was found in it. You're still going to have a leaky roof, which means when it rains, it's going to leak again, which is going to promote more mold. And that recommendation was in that report. I'll do whatever you tell me.
Can we also get the fungicide that was recommended for the wood beam was the main issue?
That's part of it. Yeah, that's what we would do. And we would do that tomorrow. I have no idea when the contractor can come out and remove the lead-based paint. I will call them and ask them to do it as quickly as possible.
When they come in the paint, are they going to paint just those spots, or are we going to get stuck into the entire wall?
Well, they would just treat the spots that are identified as having lead. And I think that's why they want to do a risk assessment for the building, to find out exactly how much, what the extent of it is.
Because I just shouldn't throw up a funky looking flower to cover up that odd spot instead of trying to say, well, the wall's going to look this color.
Right. And it's like Ryan mentioned, they will encapsulate it.
I have a question about the ICC dual credit course that's being taught. Would it be possible for that instructor to come and teach those students? It's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday course. Is that possible? All of those kids are drivers and require transportation.
Under the circumstances, absolutely. What I would do is probably have Jeremy call the administration at ICC and discuss the problem we're experiencing now with them. See if they'll work with us. But I don't see a problem as long as none of the board members do. I don't.
I have one thing. I'd just like to bring it up about the breaking up the different schools and the different age groups. Just keep in mind that a lot of the older kids in a family take care of and handle the younger kids in their school.
All right.
Following the recommendations listed in the report, and also calling the contractor to expedite the process to repair the areas found in the report for fixing the interior lead base issue and keeping all windows closed and not operable as recommended in the lead base report. And get the kids back in that building as quickly as possible.
Are there more fans that could be added at all, or that we can purchase so that they're not overheating? Because I don't want any of the kids or teachers to pass out from overexposure to heat.
Absolutely.
Possibly money more.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Bernie, for offering.
All right. We are adjourning the meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye, please.